For 500 days, the Ukrainian people have endured the Russian government's relentless attacks against homes, schools, hospitals, playgrounds, nuclear facilities, shopping malls, restaurants, and other infrastructure. Members of Russian forces and their proxies have committed international crimes, such as the unlawful transfer of Ukrainian civilians, including children, to Russia as part of its so-called filtration operations. The Kremlin has repeatedly ordered attacks on Ukraine's energy grid, seized its nuclear energy facilities, and engaged irresponsibly in nuclear saber rattling. By destroying arable land and preventing Ukraine from exporting agricultural products, Russia substantially worsened global food security. Moscow strikes have hit thousands of schools and hundreds of hospitals and cultural sites. Members of Russia's forces and other Russian officials have committed crimes against humanity in Ukraine. For 500 days, Ukrainians have bravely defended themselves, their families, their communities, their land, and their proud national identity. The international community has rallied around Ukraine in the face of Moscow's flagrant violations of the UN Charter and attempts to conquer its neighbor and redraw internationally recognized borders by force. Since day one of the Russian government's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the United States has stepped up its help to Ukraine. We rallied the world to Ukraine's side and surged our security, economic, and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. The United States, our allies and partners, imposed unprecedented sanctions, export controls, and other costs on the Russian government that are having severe and cumulative consequences, particularly on the Kremlin's ability to finance and prosecute its war effort. We demonstrated the concerted power of our alliance and partnerships by coordinating with NATO, the EU, the G7, and multilateral institutions such as the United Nations, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and the International Atomic Energy Agency to stand up for Ukraine's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence, and to hold Russia to account. In the weeks and months ahead, the United States will continue to work with Ukraine, with our allies and partners, and with any and all stakeholders dedicated to supporting a just and lasting peace. We cannot cave to Russia's aggression or accept its brazen attempts to redraw borders by force. For 500 days, we have stood firmly united with Ukraine, and we will continue to do so for as long as it takes.